online championship match is one of the pinnacles for any Maximum Tune game since Maximum Tune 4, and has finally returned to the Asia and Oceania servers. While Metro Top Gear Melbourne is primarily focused on Initial D the arcade, I wanted to take a brief look at this once lauded game mode and to provide the basics to those that were too young or those that have played Maximum Tune much later in the franchise's life. OCM, as many would refer to, is one of the few reasons many players who were active in the 2010s stuck around to play it. It wasn't always for the battles or the ghost or the time attack, and even those game modes were starting to become very stale in fashion, because throughout the last 9 years or so, Bandai Namco would neglect the Asia-Oceania market with useless updates. A new game update or VSOG wasn't even enough to satisfy the needs of the player base, and every single post made on Facebook was flooded with OCM when comments. This lack thereof any communication made the game so unbearable that many people who I knew who played Maximum Tune have moved on to other things better than this game. Whether that be moving on to Initial D or just retiring as a whole. Heck, you could say that Bandai Namco is in fear of its contemporaries as Sega Logistics Services are slowly but surely rolling out the Initial D the arcade to markets that Maximum Tune reigned dominance in. But enough speculation, I'm sure you want to know what's all the fuss about. Up to this point, the disappearance of MT's OCM events was the final nail in the coffin for some players. Others would hope it would come back in some form or another, and most would actually take advantage of it by selling data with gold plates that is worth whatever the seller tries to scam you with. Unsurprisingly, the One Gun tournament was supposed to be a substitute that worked very much differently in regard to the qualifying and how prizes were distributed. But thanks to the last World Exhibition tournament, the players' cries were soon answered, as OCM has come back in its original form. Those that were longing for another OCM event or were simulating the experience on private servers would finally get their chance to compete for the ever so elusive gold plates. OCM allowed anyone from everywhere to enter. It was the proving grounds for the best players in the game's overall server. You didn't need to stick to a permanent venue to qualify for the next round, and you didn't need to worry about whether that your venue was kicked out from obtaining a King or Joker plate, albeit that mine was stolen. What makes it even more challenging since the merger between Indonesia to the Asia-Oceania server, this will be the first OCM to have Indonesia compete against the rest of the Asia-Oceania server. So if you're planning to enter any upcoming OCM event, this is what you have to prepare yourself with. First, by qualifying, understand what your goals are before you enter. Do you want to have the Ghost as the main draw? Do you want the plates? Do you want to challenge against the hundreds if not thousands of players to either overtake or to be really close during the main draw? All that is up to you, but set your expectations a bit low, as the challenge is you're dealing with all the players in the Asia and Oceania regions to compete for the gold plates. The difficulty of the qualifying Ghost is usually quite easy. Unlike many private servers that try to simulate the OCM experience, usually with added difficulty. Not the case with the main server, as most default Ghosts are usually easy to beat at over 500 meters, and it can be pushed even further. The only times you have to retire is if you screw up by hitting a wall or you can't seem to catch up with the main draw, but completing the race is the most important thing to get done before you can push further into the OCM event. Any car can push as far as it can go, and because some Maximum Tune players are temperamental when it comes to car selection, it honestly doesn't mean diddly squat. Sure, some cars might have slight advantages, but those variables are so unnoticeable that all you have to deal with is your own driving skill. In fact, the last recorded OCM for the Asia server, the 8th Mount Taycan event, has a variety of vehicles placed in the top 150 placements, out of what seemed to be over 30,000 registered cars for the event. Next is the location. The returning locale is Mount Taycan. Some speculate that it'll be uphill based on emulation data. It's not a really difficult map, but if you're trying to rank within the top 100 or whatever, practice is crucial. Time attack helps a lot with understanding the racing line and where to send the car and the optimal speeds and when attacking certain corners. Knowing the racing line can help you in the qualifier if you're attempting to put your car in the main draw, as the goal is to gain the most amount of distance from the qualifying Ghosts, which once again is very easy to overtake. However, that is easier said than done. In some cases, the qualifying distances will be so tight against each other that competition will be extremely stiff. That is if you even bother to tally the results yourself in your own time. There will be tallying periods between qualifiers and the main draws. It usually lasts about 15 minutes, as the server needs to compile all the results to determine the next main draw Ghost to compete against. Please refer to your time zone differences from where you're competing from. And that's practically all the basics you need to know about OCM. To that I say good luck, and I'm interested to see how all this goes because the player base has been dying to have OCM back in the game. I'm more interested in how the players from all over Asia and Oceania will stack against each other, ever since the Maximum Tune player base has drastically changed over the years. I never mentioned the budgets, general difficulty, or any locations that will get you the best bang for your buck, as that information is generally not useful considering that currency-wise, credit per game differs in each country. But I will say this will not be a walk in the park. This is Agato from the Metro Top Gear Melbourne. Thank you for listening.